Imagine the person next door. The friendly face in the supermarket. The colleague who always brings in treats. For many victims and their communities, the most dangerous criminals weren't grotesque figures from a nightmare, but seemingly ordinary individuals, meticulously woven into the fabric of everyday life. This chilling paradox challenges our deepest assumptions about evil, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable truth: sometimes, the greatest threats are not those we suspect, but those we greet every morning with a smile, never questioning the facade. Experts in criminal psychology describe a phenomenon known as the psychological mask. This isn't a literal disguise, but a carefully constructed persona, designed to mirror societal expectations of normalcy. It's an intricate web of behaviors, emotional responses, and social interactions, perfected over years, sometimes decades. This mask allows individuals with profoundly disturbed internal landscapes to navigate the world undetected, appearing as stable, trustworthy, and utterly unremarkable. It's a performance so convincing, it often fools even the most astute observers. This ability to blend seamlessly is often referred to as the chameleon effect. According to various psychological profiles, individuals prone to serious offenses, especially those with psychopathic traits, possess an uncanny capacity to observe and replicate appropriate social conduct. They study human behavior, learning the scripts for empathy, remorse, and genuine connection. Their goal isn't just to avoid suspicion, but to actively cultivate an image of reliability and normalcy, often becoming pillars of their community, involved in charities or respected professions. Psychologists, like Dr. Robert Hare in his work on psychopathy, have noted that individuals exhibiting severe antisocial tendencies often display a superficial charm that can be disarming. This charm is a cornerstone of their mask, allowing them to gain trust and manipulate without immediate alarm. They are architects of deception, carefully building narratives and relationships that reinforce their constructed identity. This isn't merely lying, it's a fundamental way of engaging with the world, where truth is fluid and utility is the only measure of validity. The effort involved in maintaining this facade can be extraordinary. Many notorious offenders led lives that, on the surface, were remarkably stable and unremarkable. They held steady jobs, raised families, participated in local events, and often had spotless criminal records for extended periods. This meticulous cultivation of a perfect image serves as their primary defense. It creates a powerful social narrative that makes any deviation from that image seem impossible, causing those around them to dismiss or rationalize any emerging red flags. Our failure to spot these hidden dangers isn't a mark of naivety, it's often a consequence of ingrained cognitive biases. Normalcy bias, for instance, causes us to assume that things will continue as they have, leading us to downplay or ignore warnings. Confirmation bias means we interpret new information in a way that confirms our existing beliefs. If we already believe someone is a good neighbor, we're less likely to question inconsistencies in their behavior, actively seeking evidence that supports our initial positive impression. This creates what some researchers call the good neighbor fallacy. We expect bad people to look bad, to act suspicious, to deviate noticeably from the norm. When someone consistently presents themselves as agreeable, helpful, and integrated, their reputation becomes a shield. Any minor oddity is chalked up to eccentricity, stress, or just a bad day. The collective perception of a community can be a powerful bulwark, protecting the offender's mask by unconsciously enforcing the narrative of their goodness, even against mounting evidence. First impressions are remarkably resilient. Psychologists agree that the initial judgments we make about people are difficult to dislodge. An offender who makes a positive, charming first impression establishes a baseline of trust and affability. This initial perception casts a long shadow, influencing how all subsequent interactions are interpreted. It's like a cognitive halo effect. Positive traits are assumed to extend to other areas, making it harder to recognize negative ones, especially if they are subtle and sporadic. Yet, even the most skilled performers leave traces. Investigative reports and psychological studies consistently point to subtle red flags that, in hindsight, were always present. These include inconsistent stories that don't quite add up, a noticeable lack of genuine emotional depth in serious situations, or disproportionate reactions to minor slights. Often, these aren't dramatic outbursts, but quiet, unsettling moments, a flicker in the eyes, an unnaturally calm demeanor in a crisis, or a seemingly innocent question that probes too deeply into personal vulnerabilities. Behind the mask, a deeper manipulation often unfolds. These individuals frequently isolate their targets, subtly undermining their support systems without raising immediate alarms. They might plant seeds of doubt about friends, fabricate conflicts, or position themselves as the sole trustworthy confidant. This invisible manipulation makes victims more dependent and less likely to question the offender's motives or behavior. It's a slow, insidious process that often goes unnoticed until the victim is deeply entangled and isolated. The psychological mask, no matter how carefully constructed, is rarely perfect. Under stress, pressure, or when their objectives are threatened, early cracks begin to appear. These are often fleeting moments, a flash of anger that quickly recedes, a contradictory statement, a sudden shift in personality that is quickly corrected. Eyewitness accounts in numerous cases describe these early slips being dismissed or rationalized by those who observed them, unable to reconcile the unsettling behavior with the normal person they believed they knew. The mask doesn't typically shatter in an instant, it erodes over time. What begins as subtle inconsistencies can escalate into more overt, yet still explainable, behaviors. A controlling suggestion becomes an ultimatum, a minor lie becomes a grand deception. This gradual escalation is another reason why detection is so difficult. Each new, slightly darker revelation is viewed in isolation, rather than as part of a disturbing pattern. The sheer cognitive load of recognizing a monster in someone you trust is immense, encouraging continued denial. Our instincts, however, often register danger long before our conscious minds do. This primal alarm, a gut feeling, can be a powerful, though often ignored, indicator. Numerous accounts from individuals who later encountered dangerous offenders describe a lingering sense of unease or discomfort, even when rationally, everything seemed fine. This subconscious processing of subtle cues, micro-expressions, body language inconsistencies, tone of voice, is a vital survival mechanism, yet in our modern, rationalized world, we are often conditioned to override it. To better protect ourselves, experts suggest actively challenging our normalcy bias. This means learning to question inconsistencies, seeking independent verification of claims, and, crucially, trusting that nagging sense of discomfort. Instead of dismissing anomalous behavior as just a quirk, consider it as data. Develop a habit of critical observation, looking beyond the surface presentation to the underlying patterns. It's not about paranoia, but about informed vigilance, recognizing that danger doesn't always conform to our preconceived notions. When the mask finally falls, the impact on a community can be devastating. The revelation that a trusted member was capable of horrific acts shatters collective illusions and deeply undermines a sense of security. It forces a painful re-evaluation of judgments, friendships, and even the nature of human evil itself. News reports often highlight the profound shock and disbelief as neighbors and colleagues grapple with the stark contrast between the person they thought they knew and the monster unmasked, leaving behind a trail of psychological wreckage. This ongoing challenge compels us to re-evaluate our perceptions of danger. It forces us to acknowledge that malevolence is not always accompanied by overt signs or a sinister appearance. Instead, it can hide behind the most convincing facade, that of an ordinary, respectable human being. Understanding the psychological mask and the biases that allow it to flourish is the first step towards a more vigilant and critically aware society. It's about looking deeper, past the superficial, to the often uncomfortable truths beneath. While specific numbers vary by study, research from institutions like the National Institute of Mental Health suggests that a significant percentage of the population exhibits traits associated with personality disorders that enable such deception. While not all will become dangerous criminals, the prevalence underscores that individuals capable of severe manipulation are not exceedingly rare. One commonly cited figure suggests that traits aligned with psychopathy might be present in around 1 to 2% of the general population, a sobering reminder of the potential for hidden danger. Ultimately, the story of dangerous criminals hiding in plain sight is a cautionary tale for us all. It's a call for increased vigilance, not just against strangers, but within the familiar confines of our communities. It demands a willingness to trust our own instincts, even when they contradict outward appearances, and to challenge the comforting narrative of normalcy. By understanding the psychological mask, we empower ourselves to see beyond the ordinary, to recognize the subtle whispers of danger, and to protect ourselves from the threats we never suspected.